going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new slapper. I haven't said that word in ages. Regardless, we have another top 10 today, and that is my top 10 best OG players in COD Mobile. This is my list, and of course, this is my opinion. As always, this is my top 10, my personal top 10. Keep that printed in your head when watching this video, because I'm tired of all these comments where, oh, you're wrong, or something like that, broski. No! Regardless, number 10, we have Jokester. The one and only Jokester, the well-known and obviously loved content creator from North America, but also known as the OG number 2 player mostly in COD Mobile. Back in Season 1, he was one of Freg's competitors against obviously the leaderboards, and Jokes is mostly known to be obviously held in that spot against Freg all the time. So it was always like fun to watch him compete back in the day, but that wouldn't stop us from going to number 9. Number 9, we have Heaven, the one and only arena god. Of course, to this day, he's still uploading, still playing. To this day, still back-to-back champion in Garena, and he's been sniping for so long. Doesn't miss, of course, snipes and respawns, S&D all the time. He was mostly known as a scrimmer as well back in the day, so obviously he's mostly a professional player back in the day, and then he kind of like transitioned into the content world, and he's still doing well, doing strong, both competing and uploading content, which is really hard to do. Number 8, we have Bolu. Back in the day, Bolu was known as Nintendo. Believe it or not, he actually did play on iPad as well at some point of his stage. But yeah, Bolu currently plays for Tribe Gaming, and he does play on the phone. So the transition between iPad to a phone to this day and still compete is quite insane to me. And I think he really does deserve a spot in my top 10 just because of how far he's come. But yeah, guys, did you know that Bolu's name was Nintendo back in the day? Comment down below. Number 7, we have the one and only Little B. As most of you guys know, Little B is actually one of the best snipers in the game to this day, of course. But back in the day, he was a self-proclaimed number 1 sniper in the game. He was one of the fastest growing channels within the whole community just because of how good he was. He also competed for Omen Elite, which is a team that actually disbanded due to very controversial reasons, I guess. But most importantly, Little B is still playing to this day and competing. I think just like a few days ago, after uploading this video, he announced the fact that he left NYSL. So I don't know if he's going to compete or whatnot, but that might be the end of an era. But Little B still deserves an OG title within this top 10. Number 6, we have the one and only European player, Nox. Back in the days, he used to compete for the number 1 spot within the leaderboards, and that used to be against a player called Zia, believe it or not, and 3 more. In fact, I might actually throw this out there. Even Nintendo, of course, Bolo, was actually within that competitor list. So these 4 people would always compete against that number 1 spot, and it was quite interesting. And I think that Nox definitely deserves a spot in my top 10 OG players because he's still here to this day. He's still playing to this day, and most importantly, he did a lot back in the day. Number 5, we have the one and only 3 more. 3 more is obviously a sniper god, the legend himself. Of course, I think he's quit for now. It's very upsetting. Can we get an RIP in the comments for 3 more? But we can never forget the good memories that he's given us. He taught us how to snipe mostly with the Locust. That was like his main gun, alongside a DLQ, of course. But 3 more is actually one of the number 1 players back in the day as well, believe it or not. I think after Freg became the number 1 player, you know, and he stopped, it was always a competition between like Nox, 3 more, Nintendo, and 3 more was always there, and he became number 1 at some point. So he definitely deserves to be in this list. But nonetheless, thank you so much, Freya, for everything you've done to this day, broski. The COD community got you back. Number 4, we have Karma. This player is a Spanish player, mostly known for playing with Freg within the Sweat Squad. Literally teammates, good chemistry. Not only that, take aside his competitive leaderboard grind, because obviously leaderboards were the biggest thing back in the day. He also did scrims as well, so he was definitely a professional player back in the day as well. I think he definitely deserves to be here. Let's move on. Number 3, we have the one and only, the GOAT, the myth, the legend. That is Flacco himself. The sniper, the controversial topic, best sniper back in the day. Of course, mostly known for his insane videos and montages that he's done, but also known for being one of the best within the world. Yo, Farag, what can you tell me about Flacco?
He played in the beta.
What else?
He never scrimmed, I don't think. But he was just always sniping. Like, that's all he ever did. He never fucking used other guns unless he ran out of bullets.
Okay. Alrighty.
Obviously, he was the sniper in our team.
Okay, got you. Alright, baby. I just heard some fun facts about Frag. I don't know if you guys replayed out or not, but regardless, you guys just heard, Flacco just never got rid of the sniper. That's pretty interesting that to this day, he still lives up to his name of being the sniper main. So, shout out to Flacco. May the legend come back one day, because it's about to be the 3rd year that, you know, COD Mobile has come out. It's the anniversary soon. So hopefully we see him return with at least one banger. Number 2, we have the one and only Rai. Rai was seen as Frag's only, and once again, only competition back in the day. Nobody in Frag's eyes was a competition. When Frag seen Rai going against him, he was like, oh, we're GG's, bro. It's just going to be over here, isn't it? So it was always like a competition between them two. Of course, Frag is a season 1 number 1 player, but Rai was always there to help him out or go against him, which was a pain in the ass. And he's the only player in this list that I don't know much about, but I do know that he still plays to this day. Maybe you guys in the comment section down below can enlighten me with some of these players, mainly Rai, because I don't know much about him. But that's my number 2, Rai. Honorable mention, one of the best Garena players back in the day, that's Jay-Z. Not only was he one of the best in Garena in Rules of Survival itself when they transitioned to COD Mobile, he did not disappoint. He was just insane. He was really good. He was in NRX, the number 1 team back in the day. But yeah, NRX was dominating back in the day. Jay-Z is huge on Facebook as well, and he definitely deserves an honorable mention here because of the work he put out back in the good old OG days. Second honorable mention, I'm going to combine 2 in 1. That's Timpro and Range. Both of these guys are Japanese players. They were the sweatiest Japanese players within the whole community. The Japanese people were scared to verse against them back in the day. And there were Arctic 50, hardscope spammers, by the way. That's a quick fun fact that Fregs told me as well. So it's pretty interesting to see how the meta has switched since then. But regardless, they are my honorable mentions. We also have Zia as an honorable mention because I didn't have much slots within the top 10. And he was also a competitor for the number 1 slot most of the time. So I think he did reach it at some point. And he's a big competition to a lot of people back in the day, and he's still uploading to this day, so definitely deserves an honorable mention. And last but not least, my favorite honorable mention out of all these, it's Swag. I used to watch this guy snipes back in the day because it was so satisfying. He's somebody like Flacco and Heaven that just wouldn't miss. This in my eyes could be like Miney to this day if he played, but Swag just stopped uploading and he just quit, man. Nobody knows what's happened to him to this day. May Swag return one day. Number 1 of no surprise, the one and only Ferg. Self-explanatory, just the number 1 player back in the day. Season 1, played in the betas alongside all the players I've just mentioned. Scrimmed against the best players most of the time. Obviously in ranked 10 he would obviously win. So all the players I've mentioned, Ferg has probably gone against him and probably lost, believe it or not. And they'll probably lose, believe it or not, because Ferg had an insane team, the best team in the game, Sweat Squad. And to this day he still lives up to his name of being the number 1 player within every game he touches. So that's pretty interesting that this guy is still going. And believe it or not, it's been already 3 years since that day happened. So does anybody else miss the good old days like me? Because back in the days when I was watching Frag blow up, I was like, holy crap, somebody that I know and physically talk to is doing insane. You know what I mean? He's the number 1 in this game. I was like mind blown. So I'm really proud to have Frag on my number 1 list. And who would have thought that 3 years from that date I would be here making a top 10? And yeah, to this day we're still making videos together. So shout out to Frag, man. We've come a long way. But that's it, ladies and gents. That was my top 10 and my honorable mentions. That was my list. Comment down below your list, what you want to watch next on my next video, your personal list. Just let me know all in the comment section down below. I want to read them all. And don't forget, most importantly, with your eyes open, that this was my opinion. So do not get angry at me if you didn't see your player. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Let's get Sonho to 100k, baby.